welcome to Impact 2026, our continuing conversation where we talk about all different types of topics: race, religion, current events, everything that's going on out here in the world. And as always, we like to encourage people as they join us to feel free to participate in the conversation. You participate in the conversation by typing your questions or your comments into the comment section. So again, feel free to join in the conversation. If there's something that you like, go ahead and type it. If there's something that you don't like, go ahead and type it. If there's a question that you have, go ahead and type it. And so as always, we encourage you to be a part of the conversation. Really quickly, I like to remind people of the different offerings that we have here. On Thursdays at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time here on Facebook and YouTube, we have Thursday Thirst. That is our weekly Bible study. It's a time where we get together and really deep dive into the Bible. On Sundays, we have a time of worship. That's at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is on Facebook, YouTube, and in person. So if you're available in the area, as you see our address on the screen, feel free to come by for a time of worship, a great time of worship. And on Tuesdays, today, at 7 o'clock, from 7 to 7:45, we have a time of prayer. And that's an opportunity for you to pray with everyone in the ministry. You don't have to pray from 7 to 7:45, but just sometime in between there, just shoot up a prayer and know that you are praying with the people of this ministry. And as always, we have Impact 2026. What we're going to do is today, we're going to hop into two current event topics. All right. And as we do this, we brought on a guest, and so that we can kind of just talk through the topics. He doesn't know what the current event topic is. So what I'm going to do is explain the current event and then ask his opinion about it. And we're going to also get it from a slight slant. We're both males, we're both African American, we're both Christian. So that's the slant you're going to get it from. So that is the conversation of what we're going to have today. All right, so let me start it off. The first one, and I don't know 100% if this is true, just because sometimes you get the internet. The first one was an occurrence. And in the occurrence that we had, it was a lady who, and this is in LA, a lady was frantically on the highway, going up to cars, trying to get into the cars, knocking on the cars, saying that she needed some assistance or help. And so let me give you a little bit more color to the situation. It was a brown-skinned woman. So she could have been African-American, she could have been Hispanic, really doesn't know per se, but just a brown-skinned woman, probably mid-30s, mid-40s, maybe 50s. She kept herself, just keeps herself young looking, and was going up to the cars, frantically trying to pull on the cars and ask people. So this is on the highway, they're in traffic. And so what happened is no one let her in the car. So you went up to a car, engaged and talked to some people and tried to get into their car, like pulled on the car and tried to get it. Now, one of the big conversations is it comes from two areas. One is clearly there was something going on. Now, was this person trying to do something bad and trying to get into people's cars? Or the other side was clearly something was going on. Did this person need some assistance and help? And the conversation has been, what should we do? What should you do? Some people are like, it's a shame that nobody would open the door and let the woman in the car. She could have been running from a domestic violence situation, a drug situation, whatever kind of situation. No one opened to help. And on the other hand, people are like, look, I got to be safe. I'm not letting no weirdo just jump in my car. And so as a Christian, as a male, that's the question of what I'm asking now. So Vince, you kind of heard
no sound. No sound.
No sound there? Interesting.
No sound.
All right. You still can't hear me now?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I can't hear you at all.
Interesting. Not really sure. Give us a quick second as we try to handle this technical difficulty. I'm gonna pull you off. I'm gonna pull this off. All right. All right. So while we work on that technical difficulty, I'm going to continue on through the story. All right. All right. So again, while we work on the technical difficulty, we'll try to see here what we can do. All right. So the conversation about the story, and again, I'm gonna remind everyone about the comments if you want to type in your comments and your questions. Um, the situation is, well, what do? You sit back here, and we go to church on Sundays, and we try to position ourselves as people of character. And we talk about the Good Samaritan situation, and so our thoughts usually go around to, well, what would we do if we're put in the same situation? And so you have somebody who is frantic. You can clearly see on their face they're frantic and they're having some kind of issue. But you're on the highway. You're in your car. You don't want anybody just randomly getting in. What is the responsibility there? What is the best way that you can make sure that you are true to who we're supposed to be as people of character and Christians, and at the same time being safe and smart? How do you handle that situation? Do you let somebody get into your car? It gets a little sketchy there. Once somebody jumps into your car, at that point, anything could happen. They could pull out a weapon. They could get violent. But at the same time, somebody could be trying to get away from a situation. Somebody could be chasing them or trying to get at them. And getting into your car would be the opportunity for them to get away from the other people who can't see them and give them that moment of safety and security. And so that it's not an easy question, I think. I think it's just one of those things where, well, what do you do? Like, what do you do? And so let me try again to see if I can see if we can reach out. Vince, can you hear me? Okay. We're at you to the stage. All right, so you can hear me.
I can hear you.
All right, so let me. I don't know how much of the story that you heard, but I'll do a little brief recap. And
Okay.
So there is a story that's going around. Again, I acknowledge that when you read these stories, and even though it came from a news organization, you never know if they're 100% true. But in LA, during a traffic, you know how LA traffic is, it's slow, but traffic on the highway, cars are driving. A woman came out and was pulling on the doors of the cars, trying to get in the cars. And the conversation was going on about, was it a situation, because the woman looked frantic in the face, whether it was, all right, I'm trying to get into your car so I can do something bad, or I'm trying to get into your car because I'm trying to get away from a situation or I need some help. And what was even said is that she said at some point in time that she needed some help. And so the question is, as a Christian, as a Black man, as a person of just character, what do we do? What do you do in that situation? How do we stay safe and kind of honor our responsibilities? That whole Good Samaritan situation where you see somebody that needs some help or somebody's asking for some help. What do you do in that situation? Do you let her in your car, which you're exposing yourself to, somebody might have a gun or a weapon or something like that, or maybe just violent? Or do you let her in your car because you are maybe helping somebody who's trying to get away from some folk who are trying to get her? Maybe she's getting in your car and then saying, hey, can you take me to the hospital? Whatever. What do you do?
Well, I believe that most assailants, if they have bad intentions, they exhibit that behavior right from the rip. 9 times out of 10, they'll probably go around to the driver's side, brandish a weapon. Speaking of weapon, I would definitely assess the situation in a calm manner and see exactly where their head's at and try to make terms of what they're speaking about. It could be a situation like someone's trying to kill me, and I guess that's the time that you take your time and once again assess the situation, look around, and make the decision whether you want to allow that person to get in your vehicle or not. But from my own personal experience being out in LA as a truck driver, I've seen similar situations like that. And actually have to know exactly what you're dealing with. Whether it's it could be a drug deal going wrong, you know. And if you're not hearing any gunfire or anything like that, maybe as a Christian, maybe you should just go ahead and do what God asked you to do and allow this person to have access to the vehicle, but staying vigilant at the same time. You know, that's what I would do. You know.
Good point. We have a comment that just popped up. So not just as Christians, but as human beings, how do we deal with our fellow human being? And then that's the crux of the question. So here's another little part of the whole situation. And as you talked about, you're familiar with the LA driving scene. It's hundreds of cars out there. Nobody stopped. Nobody let her in. More so, nobody really addressed the situation. So nobody even got out of the car or really rolled down the window and was like, "Hey, yo, are you good?" One, let's speak to that. What does that say about us as human beings? To write to this comment, not just as a Christian, but as a human being, that nobody even tried to do anything else. So not just the letting you in the car, but we all just drive by and say it's somebody else's responsibility. So talk about it from that point. That what does that say about us as humans? That nobody out of the hundreds of cars that were out there did anything.
That's even here, man. That's unfortunate because a lot of things could be prevented if we actually took the time to intervene. Because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on. It could have been a family member. I'm just saying hypothetically, it could be a family member, one of your family members, one of my family members, and this situation could be happening to them, and people just driving on. I think as a people that we need to be more proactive to and more. I don't want to say it's so much as sympathetic, but I guess that's what it is to other people's situations, because at the end of the day, we don't know what's going on, and we might be in a position where we can save someone's life, man.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't seeing it that way. There's like, it's not my problem, so I'm just gonna keep on rolling.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's 100 cars out there, so everybody's like, "Oh, well, the next dude will do it." Like,
Right.
I'm gonna just keep going, but the next car, she'll handle the good lady out there, or the next. Everybody's expecting somebody else to do it.
Right.
So I think sometimes we get into that situation of you're not trying to be bad, but you're like, "Man, I'm late for work. There's another car behind me. I'm pretty sure they'll get it."
Right. That's kind of like passing the buck,
Yes.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. And like I said, man, at the end of the day, it could be someone's daughter, someone's son. I mean, we don't know what the situation is. And unfortunately, man, nothing against the police officers and people that have authority. Sometimes they could be the root of the issue. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people need a safe haven, and we as a Christian, I think we need to start extending a hand instead of sitting back on the sidelines and watching to see what happens next. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how those situations arise, and it's also unfortunate as well, because what if as a human being, not just necessarily as a Christian, what if you could have prevented something horrific from happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we have to look at it, things like that,
Yeah. Now, I'm going to say something that's going to sound old,
right,
antiquated, out of date.
Okay.
So you just tell me how you feel about this. At the end of the day, if it's you or me, I'm going to say we need to intervene. We could even let her in the car, roll down the window. We need to get out of the car, do something.
Right.
If I was talking to my son and he was of driving age, I'm going to say the same thing to him. I need you to go ahead and intervene. As a Christian, as a man, this is what we're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
Now, my daughter, you don't roll down that window.
Right.
Because you're not like us in the sense of, nothing against, you're a woman. It's a different situation.
Absolutely.
Physically, I know that, we can handle some things that it's a little different, but as man to man, it is our responsibility. You roll down the window, you find out what's going on. So whether it's a man out there, it's a woman out there, you find out what's going on. But I'm talking to my daughter, ain't no way. You do not roll down that window. You can call, you can roll it down just a little bit of a crack so you can ask them what's going on, but you don't get out that car, you don't let her in the car. I will teach it differently to what I would do with a man, to a woman, with my son, to my daughter.
I concur.
How bad is that comment for you, or problematic, or do you agree?
I concur. But I'm fortunate enough that I taught my daughters a little bit of hand-to-hand combat, and not saying that will save them from every situation, but I tell them all the time, make sure you keep some mace with you, especially for situations like that. If a man comes up and sometimes you got to do what you got to do and ask questions later, and that's unfortunate. That's the nature of the beast on that one right there. But I totally agree with you 100% as a man and, a father, with daughters, don't open no door for no man. And that goes for at home too. Don't open if your brothers aren't there, I'm not there, your uncle's not there, don't open that door.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, yeah. I agree. Or window, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
No male gets any outside access. Because that's how things happen.
Yeah. Another comment. You guys are being kind. Most people don't care. They only deal with their situation. I doubt if anyone checked to see what was going on. Yeah, you're right. I am being kind when I'm saying that the cars are going by and saying like, all right, the next person will handle it. You're right. A lot of people just don't care. But yeah, I do think. Here's the thing about being, and again, you can tell me how you feel about that, Vince. The thing about being a Christian is that you got to put yourself out there sometimes in some uncomfortable situations. We all know that. When you go into these shelters or you're going out here and you're talking to people, you put yourself out there in some dangerous situations. When you read the Bible, it's talking about walking through the shadow of death and I fear no evil. That's a theme of we got to put ourselves out there. And so I think while everybody else can drive by, we have a responsibility to put ourselves in some questionable situations. And sometimes bad things may happen, but as Christians, I think that's what we're tasked to do.
Absolutely. That's part of our callers. That kind of falls back into love thy neighbor as you would love yourself. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. If that person was a non-Christian, this would be the opportunity to bring them closer to Christ because you did what Christ would do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, I totally agree with you, man. We gotta step it up. I mean, humanity all together. As a man, we just got to step it up. I know I would stop if someone was in a situation, and if it turned one way, men are geared differently. If it turns foul, we know when to get foul, and I'm just going to leave it at that, Yeah. But there's other choice words that I can say, but I'm going to keep it. I'm just going to hold it tight. But yeah, we definitely. We got to do the right thing, at all costs. We can't leave anyone hanging because you wouldn't want anyone to do that to you. Mm-hmm. And that's my perspective on that.
Yeah. And we have another comment. Do they call them good Samaritans? So here, and that's and that leads right to what I was about to say. This is why this is an important conversation because we talk, and I appreciate you really, giving a real answer. Because we talk all the time about what goes on in the Bible, but then we forget to talk about, well, how do we really do this in real life? And so we talk about the Good Samaritans, the Good Samaritan story. Then we have a real life situation like this, and we're like, well, what do we do? And so, as we talk about things, talk about what it really means to be a Christian, how do you be a neighbor? How do you love your neighbor? Well, you love your neighbor by stopping and being a Good Samaritan and doing all this. So that's why I think this is important because I think sometimes in church we talk about the Bible, mm-hmm. It doesn't translate to real life, and that's why people look at Christians and sometimes are like, "What are y'all out here doing?"
Right.
We have to talk about the real world situations.
Absolutely. I agree, and that's why I was saying, man. I mean, that's your opportunity right there to
Yeah.
bring someone closer to Christ. You know, because it
Yes.
was like, you know, that person was nice enough to stop me and make sure I was okay, or allowed me to get in from whatever the situation may be, or
Hmm.
you know, and it was just there to support them through whatever it is and stay there with them until the end. You know, it
Yeah.
could have been a bad car accident. You know, people go crazy sometimes. They just run, you
Yes.
know, and they just get hysterical. You know,
Mm.
somebody's got to be there, calm, cool, and collective. But like I said, though, us men, I mean, we got that once that adrenaline starts to pouring out. You know, we can definitely turn things around. I mean,
Yeah.
one way or another, you know. Um, and that's what I love about us Christians, us true Christians. You know, we're willing to go that extra mile.
Right.
You know,
Yep.
and,
All
and
right.
well,
Oh,
I
go
was going
ahead.
to say, it's not that. I mean, personally, I don't go. As being a Christian man, I don't go do anything for a title or anything like that. And that's what a good Samaritan is, man. You
Mm.
don't do anything for a title. You
Right.
do it because it's the right thing to do. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, we could this one we could talk about because it can go a whole nother situation of the fact that we did talk about her being a woman, but she's also brown. I
Right.
don't know if she was black or Hispanic or whatever, but I seen a picture. You know, you saw a picture of her. She's brown. She
Wow.
looked like us. So that could go a
Right.
whole nother. You know,
Right.
but
Absolutely.
won't go down that route. We're going to switch to the next story, which actually is a race story.
Mm.
So this one just came up. The United States of America, if you don't know, the United States of America has a refugee program where we bring in people from other countries who are trying to escape a situation.
Right.
Well, this current administration, the Trump administration, has decided that they were going to basically scrap the refugee program for right now. So people who have pending refugee claims trying to get into the United States and people who are trying to come over here and say, hey, I'm a refugee, we're not letting anybody into the country. With the exception of Afrikaners or
Mm.
Africans, depending on how you say the word. And these are
Right.
people from South Africa who are white farmers from South Africa. Over 6,000 of them were, their refugee claims were made and they were able to come into the United States. Right around 6,000. So total since October, because that's when the year starts, the total number of people that have been able to come in as refugees to the United States is 6,000.
Mm-hmm.
All of them, with the exception of about 60, were the white South Africans. The other 60 were from Afghanistan, and that's it. I don't know
Wow.
if y'all okay. Well, you can still hear me, but my screen's frozen. All right.
Right.
So now the new thing is that they're going to increase the number to 10,000 to let 10,000 refugees in this year, and that's going to be the total cap. But that 10,000 increase is just for additional white South African farmers. And so the story is that white South African farmers are being persecuted in South Africa. But the truth of the matter is, based on what the South Africans are saying, is that all farmers right now are kind of being attacked by these people out out and about. So all farmers, whether you're black or white or whatever else, just they're having some issues with farmers out in the rural areas in South Africa. So, with that being said, the only people who are being let into the United States right now as refugees are white South Africans.
Wow.
Based on that's purely color, because the black farmers are not being let in.
Right.
Just with the time that we got, how do you feel about that as a black man? How should we feel about that? That the administration has just blatantly said we're only going to let white people in right now, nobody
Man,
else.
well, man, I hate to say that this is nothing new, but this is nothing new to me. You know, as the system isn't set up for us. It never was. And unfortunately, we still got a ways to go.
Yeah.
And until we all start pulling together and making noise all around the globe, we're
Mhm.
going to continue to have situations like this.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, it's crazy that so many people sat back here and they said DEI is so bad, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Well, this seems like if
Hmm.
you're mad at diversity and equity and inclusion, and you're mad that people are giving people things, giving opportunities to people based on race, being able to allow folk to participate in places and jobs and industries that historically they weren't able to get into um, because of race. If you're mad about affirmative action type things, or special or preferential treatment, or making sure that each group is represented,
Hmm.
you do all that and you say all that is bad, and then you turn around and you say, "Well, we're only going to let white people over here." That's the exact opposite of what you're saying. It shouldn't be about race. Everybody should be treated equally, and then you're making it about race because again,
Right.
specifically, the only farmers who are coming in are the white farmers, not the black ones who are being
Right.
persecuted just as well, or supposedly only the white ones. So you hate to just well, some people hate to just come out and be like, "Hey, this administration is racist." I don't hate to say that. I got no problem saying it, but
Right.
um, you
It's,
know,
it's, it's good to call it for what it is. You
mhm,
know, the crazy thing about all of this is a lot of people that I actually grew up with. I mean, they used to be able to call me brother, but I don't allow that anymore because they have adapted that way of thinking. And I was like, man, you're not my brother, man. You're you're racist, and they have to accept it, man. And it's unfortunate that we're still dealing with that today. And that goes back to what I said earlier, that we still have a ways to go. But as the great Sam Cooke said, change is gonna come.
uh-huh.
Change is gonna come.
Yeah, yeah, I believe that. Another comment. I heard that many of the initial white South Africans went back to South Africa after a period of time here in the U.S. Yes, it's funny that you bring that up. That is one of the things that they talked about. A lot of the white South Africans came over here and just got stuff. So as much as we talk about other people trying to scam the system or Medicaid
Mhm.
fraud or whatever, they came over
Mhm.
here to scam the system, get whatever they can get, and then go back. And so now they're opening it up so even more people can come and do the same thing. So the administration knows what's going on. I think it's,
Absolutely.
I think what it is for me, and as I talk to others, I think it's a slap in the face and a reminder of what's going on.
Absolutely.
A reminder how we are being treated as people of color, whether you're black,
Absolutely.
whether you're brown, whoever you are. When somebody tells you who they are, you need to believe them. And we need to stop, not us, but there's other folk, the people that we know, stop making
Absolutely.
excuses
Hmm.
for behavior that is clearly inappropriate. So stop making
Absolutely.
excuses for racism and stop making excuses. Just like our voting rights, let's stop acting like this stuff isn't happening and slapping us right in the face. Um, so yeah, I am, for me personally, I think that this is one of the worst things because it's the opposite of what we just talked about being a good Samaritan. Here
It
as
is.
the United States, we are seeing people in countries who are in terrible situations, who have even helped us out, whether they helped out our military or gave us intel on certain situations. And we've decided that we've closed the door to all of them. And the only people who get the door open to them are people from one country, South Africa, and one skin color, which is white. And so it's just heartbreaking because that there's a lot of people who need the opportunity to come here and be here for whatever reason. They may be trying to escape violence or whatever, and we just closing the door because you're not white and you're
Yep.
not from South Africa.
Well, this is just my opinion. There's gonna come a time where they're gonna need us.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna need us. And,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just gonna leave that right there just to marinate. They're gonna need us before it's all said and done, actually. Before
Mm.
it's all said and done. Because as they say, history has a way of repeating itself if you don't know about your history. But apparently they don't know about their history, or they don't care about their history.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. And I think that second one is probably the biggest problem, because even that's with us.
right,
One of the reasons we're in the situation we are now is because we know our history, we just don't care. We know
right,
as people of color, we're supposed to be in the church, but we
right,
decided we don't care. We know we're supposed to be a part of NAACP, or we're supposed to be a part of United Negro College, or just we know we're supposed to be in these organizations instead of being in the AAUs and
right,
MLBs and the NFL. We done got our priorities out straight because we don't care. We know the
right.
history, we just don't care. And I think that's you hit it right. I think you hit it right there.
Right.
Man, our time is gone, Vince. I really appreciate this, man. I think this was good. I think this was a very good conversation.
It was.
Oh, one more comment we got that came in. America is what it is because of the presence because of the presence and contributions of Black folk. Yeah, yeah, and they need to remember that. And so when you're sitting here, you're not going to let other Black people in here. You're forgetting that the history that we brought a lot to the table. We didn't come here. We didn't come here, and not contribute. We brought a lot to the table. America is us. Like, we are what it is. All right. With that being said, I want to remind people before we get out of here, remind them again about what we have going on Thursday, 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time p.m. Thursday at 7 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have Thursday Thirst. It's a weekly Bible study. On Sundays at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have a time of worship. That's Facebook, YouTube, and in person. And then at 7 o'clock every week, we have a time of prayer. That's when you pray with the rest of the ministry. And of course, 8 o'clock, where you are now, Impact 2026. Thank you for all the comments. Thank you for everybody who joined us today. And, join us again.
Absolutely.
Have a good one.